It was mainly for like knowing what, let me bring it back up here.
Knowing your purpose brings our life's motivations
Yes.
to our work, which brings our work to life. I'm kind of paraphrasing there, but that's what I remember.
Right, so it's like, I brought up the story of the three bricklayers and how it's mainly, we went just laying bricks, or are we building a kingdom, or whatever it may be. And I think that's kind of helped my perspective in my business for sure, or in anything in life, it's just, it's not just about, selling homes, it's about, helping and, being a great resource to help people overcome their fears or whatever it may be. I don't know, so, but,
it's a great metaphor. I had heard it before, and then, like anything else, a repetition, we hear it again and stuff like that, because it's the same activity. And it's the thought process and the focus and the passion behind what we're doing it. And it applies to everything. It's like we're in here, we're always saying, why are we doing this? On different things. It's like what's the purpose of what more with Ashley? It's like, yeah, everything.
The annoying one that's like, what's the purpose of this? Why are we doing this?
Well, yeah,
I don't even want to do it if there's no purpose.
Reason. Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, it's even the minuscule jobs, I think this refers to, it's and the bigger jobs, like big companies too, just a bricklayer or just somebody who works at a supermarket, or maybe they have, it's important that we can do the best we can in whatever we're doing.
Yeah, I think having a purpose, or why are we doing this, is one thing that's business oriented, but this is more like internal and passion. It's like how you feel about your activity and what you're doing. Like when you're working with a client or whatever, it's just like, man, I'm gonna help them become a homeowner. Not like I'm doing a transaction, I'm working towards a commission or whatever, but when you're really vested in that aspect of it, I mean, it makes all those showings and all those houses, it's like, it's okay. And I've had people make comments to me, it's okay, we've looked at 20 homes, because when you go to closing, I want you to be 100% happy and moving into your home and stuff, not like you're settling.
Yeah.
Right. And that's our job. And so it just makes all of those menial tasks have a higher purpose too, like laying a brick. Right. Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I like that.
Lynn's deep in thoughts.
Apologies, I was thinking.
Well, I wanted to know. Is they got any thoughts on that, or is that something else?
No, just there's a lot of different things that you do that aren't even enjoyable that you do, and there's times where I'll be doing something and I'll be like, this is just it's so monotonous, but it all is for a reason. It's for other things, and that's what keeps me doing the monotonous things. I mean, when you have when you're doing a transaction for the 100th time, and if you haven't saved templates to send to people, because sometimes their stuff is different every time, but you need to make sure that they know exactly what's going on. So you're also building bricks, with every transaction. So yeah, I was thinking of that, and I was thinking about a lot of other things, because there's so many things that you do, but it all just adds up. I mean, Ian will be a testament of that, because everything that he's done, it's been a little here, a little here, a little here, a little here, a little here. And now he has this pretty amazing story, but he's such a humble guy. I mean, he shows that anyone can do anything really, because he just had a really great mentor. And I've watched him mentor a ton of people that, like, we had an investment group at one time, and almost every single one of those people have sold all their rentals and don't have anything. Is because they never listened to the mentorship. Because I was mentoring as a landlord, he was mentoring as the investor, and most people didn't want to listen to this side, because it's like, oh, but they're so sweet and they need help, and so then they put a person in the house, that person trashes the house, they want to sell the rental. So it's like you have to, I don't know.
Well, keep the bigger picture in mind, right? Like you need to keep the bigger picture, the long-term goal, like in mind too, to keep your purpose front of mind. Because if you're not looking at that bigger picture, then it's like, yeah, we had a crappy tenant and it really sucks, so I'm going to sell my rental property. But if it's like, no, I'm keeping this for my retirement,
exactly,
then you're going to think of it completely differently.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
It's weird having you here.
I know. I just love and look at your face.
Really staring at me.
Do you guys want to sit next to each other?
I'm like, I can't do that.
Awesome. No, that was a great topic. When you were sharing that last week, I was just like, it's so good because you can think about that every day with everything you're doing. It's just like every task, every client or the transactions like talking about investing in real estate. It's like, there's so many things that we don't like doing, but it's part of it. We can't just do the fun and sexy things of in our work, whatever. It's
Well, and it's easy to lose motivation, right? Because you have your family and you have this going on and this going on. You're like, okay, I'm not seeing results yet. But it's the people that keep going that see the results. You're a testament of that as well. You just keep plugging in and you don't give up. And then all of a sudden this happens, this happens, this happens. What, Brianna just got a $3 million listing? Are you serious? That is so cool. And watching her just keep, you know.
mhm.
Well, I love the story that you told last time about what are you doing? I'm laying bricks. What are you doing? Well, I'm building a wall. What are you doing? I'm building a beautiful cathedral. And I totally took that to our conversations that we had like this past week, because it's like, okay, what are we building here? Like, what is it that we're working towards to build, and what is our cathedral versus like, what are the bricks we have to lay? Because yeah, the bricks can get pretty boring, but when you're thinking of a cathedral, it's pretty cool. I really like that.
That's very great.
I got it wrong one week.
You crushed it.
I'm working on it.
You know, that's what I love about these discussions that we have in here too, that just the personal development part of it, instead of it always being on, you know, just like our trainings, we're talking about even concentrating more on this kind of stuff instead of always like, you know, how to do a CMA, you know, some of the topics are like functional for our real estate business, but motivational or inspirational or mindset, no, right? It's just like almost boring. But when you get this right and you have your passion and your purpose behind it, then all that other stuff is just they're pieces of the puzzle that make more sense. But when you're only talking about the dry topics and the brick lane and not the end products and stuff, it really can, people quit. That's why people quit. It's just like they're not having fun, they're not enjoying what they do, they don't see the big picture, they're not patient enough to get the momentum built, and they quit too early. Everybody quits too early. And then in hindsight, it's just like, man, if I would have stuck with it, because now they got another example of somebody that did stick with it. It's like, man, if I would have stuck with it, I could be here, but I quit here. So, good stuff, good stuff. So when we're moving forward, I'm going to start with you actually before we talk about some of the other things, because she wanted to talk about a listing.
Oh,
that she has.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, you have some good wins.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, I got, she's going live. She's been hustling this week. So tell us about it.
So it's actually really cool property. It's one of the affordable properties in the area because it's the Riverton Harriman area, actually a long street. Really nice area. But the selling feature about it, I think I showed it to you. It has like, it's a 3-car garage insulated with a double RV pad, which is enclosed, fully fenced like RV pad, and you also have the yard. So, anyway, it's a corner lot, yes.
So when you mean double, it's like side by side?
Side by side.
Oh,
Side by
wow.
side,
Nice.
yes.
The location.
The location's great, yeah, it's like 2 blocks from a park, you can literally walk like right across the street, and then it's connected to the Riverton Harriman walking trails. Like it has some really good outdoor features, it comes with a hot tub, the awning, privacy shades, you know, on the awning and things like that, like outdoor lighting and security system, and so there's some good things in it. It does need probably a new paint job, they have taken very good care of the house, but it's under 600,000. Right under 600, so which is a great affordable. Houses on that street are going for 775, 800.
I
So
think I'll take it.
yeah,
So if they're going for that much, how can we give us six?
it's 3 times the size less.
Oh, this is the small one in the big neighborhood. You tell me about that,
That's-
which is great investment wise. Yeah.
It's still 2
So
stories.
you're in a neighborhood of
Yes.
758s for
Yes.
6. That's
Nice.
great selling
That's
point.
what you.
Yeah.
Small house and nice neighborhood.
Right, yeah, so it's a great,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not very many houses in the area that have a corner lot with a 3-car garage, like, that's my feeling with the entire area. There's none for sale in the area right now, I've been watching it very carefully. I'm like hoping, yeah, I'm doing an 4-hour open house on Sunday.
Nice.
Maybe
So-
a preview and.
And I'm doing a neighborhood preview for just the neighbors, and putting out like, my husband's like, he's like, how many flyers do you put out? This is my neighborhood, you know? And I'm like, I was thinking about 50, and he's like, no, you're gonna put out 100, I'll pay for the rest.
Perfect.
I'm like, are you gonna help me with the 6 hours of this? Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
So here's your
So-
50.
Right, exactly.
Super
So-
cool.
Anyway, he's like, nope, you got a daughter who's living here for free, you're gonna take her. So I'm like, hey, you can drop off these houses, I'm gonna go door knock on these houses, and that's how it's gonna go.
Great, great. So your neighborhood open is the night before or the same day?
Same day, yeah,
Same day.
I'm just, yeah,
You're
that's
just
my
you're
flyer,
making-
say it's neighborhood preview.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
after talking about with Shayna, we're just gonna keep it the same time.
Exciting.
Yeah,
You're gonna extend it on the MLS too, right? Just make it the whole time?
yes, the whole time on the invoice, so,
How far west?
5325.
Okay.
Cool. So it's right on 100, right off 134 South, and yeah, it's past Mountain View, so it's on the west side of Mountain View. But you're not like next to the highway, but you're
Mhm.
close enough. So it's a really nice neighborhood.
My parents used to live in that neighborhood.
Oh, really? Okay.
What?
Right where they moved her, what street?
Lightning Peak Drive.
Like, oh, you're right where this is. Been there for 25 years, so, or 20 years.
Surprised I remember that, cause it's been almost 5 years since we moved. Oh no, it's been almost 7 years since we moved.
Are you gonna have anybody do it with you? Or are you gonna be the only one there?
Maybe the only one. I tried, get some other people there, but. Yeah.
I was just curious to having the neighbors and the open house at the same time and, you know, conversations and stuff. Some people do it. The reason I asked the night before, some people do the neighbors the night before to get them out of the way. Just
Yeah.
to look or lose because they come and they talk about the neighbors, you know, this and that, and you might miss a buyer
That's
that
true.
comes in because the neighbors are, you
That's
got
a good
chatty
idea.
Cathy there. you
There
know.
is a couple more people, oh, well, unless you have suggestions, because I feel like I've called some people, so. But, it's also May the 4th, you know, so. So,
That's what your flyer should have been. May the 4th be with you.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
serious.
I
The
considered
Star Wars
that,
theme.
I definitely considered having Star Wars all over it.
Star Wars music coming in the
Yes.
door.
Yes,
That'd be fun.
I would definitely consider that, yeah, have Han Solo, you know, cut out right there in the door.
So you're looking for an agent to do it with you?
I was even thinking about even just trying to find like even a lender, but. Just, I feel like nobody's around, it's just so busy.
Chase would.
Yeah.
Chase's too.
Oh, he's got his stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
that's not a bad idea to have like an extra, like
Well,
agent there, so.
yeah, I know that we do have our Utah Group on Workplace, so you could ask, do you have any mentees that might want to?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because you had a mentee that wanted to do some for me, but. I can't
It'd be a
remember.
great opportunity for a mentee to just kind of even be there to observe
Yeah.
and kind of help handle crowd control. Hopefully there is crowd control right now, and be able to make sure everybody feels welcome and gets their questions answered and stuff. I've been to one with Sydney before where, even though there was 2 of us, I saw somebody new walks in and you're finishing this conversation and they're gone before
Right.
you can even really talk to them and see if they had any questions or anything. And maybe they ran away on purpose because they didn't want the agent to talk to them, but also it's just like, you know, nobody was around to
And
grab
of
them.
course,
so
it's
they
your
could-
open house, if you don't wanna have other people, we don't.
Well, I also don't necessarily wanna represent, you know, a house I'm listing anyway, so,
Exactly.
I just. Wanted to talk with people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know,
Listings.
yeah, it was an opportunity of like meeting people.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want somebody else putting their flyers in my neighborhood, so.
So I actually know an agent in our group that was asking me about it.
Okay,
Let me ask her
okay,
too.
no, thank you.
And you can always post in the Team Limitless Facebook group too.
Okay.
And just say, hey, looking for somebody to either do an open house or to join you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good, and that's going live
tonight.
tonight, nice,
Yeah,
Thursday, that's a
and we're
good.
not having any showings until after the open house on Saturday. So I'm looking at any showings tomorrow, that week, she needs that day to clean.
Yeah. He's like feeding me that day to
How did
clean.
photos go?
Oh my gosh, I should show you the photos. It like took this house that. I'm so glad I staged them, oh my gosh.
It's so crazy
It
that
made-
you remember how it was.
Oh, it
and
makes
then you
such a
see the
difference.
Photos and you're just like, oh my gosh, you're so proud.
You usually even impress the homeowners, they're just like, they don't even know that they're.
They're like, I don't even wanna
Yeah,
move
don't
one
wanna
of
move.
them.
Yeah, maybe I'll stay. It's kind of like that list it or leave it show.
Well, I think these are ones that are easy accessible, like this is the living room stage. It's when you walk in the entryway, and that's the the family room.
Yeah, I got something already.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, must you thank you.
Open house.
This is the main bathroom. This was like the cat living space area. It was disgusting.
See, that's why we have a collaboration.
Bedroom, like
section
so
of-
much better.
Is that her bed and stuff or they?
Yeah, that's her
Okay.
bed. Yeah, and then that's her bathroom, huge difference. Kitchen table, like it was this old ugly table, and we just put a couple things up there, that white couch, and then. Like this is the white couch with the little, in her area. This is
Did you
like-
take before pictures? Is that what you're? or just
like,
after?
Take before pictures, it's the kitchen.
When you're gonna stage,
So-
start doing that.
Yeah.
Cause it's nice to have those, cause you
I
can put them
use-
side by side and show a future client, show, say, this is what it does, cause they can't, most people aren't visual. Very small percentage of people can picture things as they could be.
I mean.
Yeah, well, it's fine, you know, in the future, if you got one coming up, just take some before pictures on your phone. And then afterwards, and if you have a before picture, what's cool, and I used to do this when I was doing flips.
Okay.
I've got my before picture, so when we're all done, and with the stagings and stuff, I can stand in the same spot. And I can take the picture again, so it's like literally, here's the before, here's the after, and it's the same room, the same picture, same shot.
Okay, good. Okay, so here's an actual, just the house, so you can see what the house looks like. So, I mean, it's cute, yeah, there's the house.
Nice.
So it's still a nice looking house. Yeah, they've taken really good care of the yard, so.
Ashley, you gonna buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that she's getting really
Yeah,
excited.
come on.
Well, I already, when you brought it up before, I was thinking about it, but we've got an event on Saturday, but I wonder if Tyson will come look at it. Cause he wants the big garages and we need the.
What's the square footage again?
There's the corner lot picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the square footage, Julie?
2749, it's 3 bedrooms. The basement is not finished. Like, this is a nice big yard, like with that.
What's yours?
Mhm.
But
Sorry, I didn't listen.
What's your square footage?
Right
Agree.
now, I don't even know. I'm
I
thinking.
guess hers is 2,700.
Hey, Eric. Can you hear us?
an RV pad here.
I hear you great. It's a very
Awesome.
great conversation.
Even Eric got it.
3 bedrooms that are finished.
Yeah.
There's none for me, please.
I am sorry, I had a real estate emergency on a transaction we're working on right now this morning.
Oh, that's
So-
rare for you.
I was just kind of going crazy and I had the time in the back of my head, didn't look at my calendar, so I apologize. I missed the start time.
No worries, no worries. We started off with Hillary's recap on her share from last week, you know, talking about the bricklayers and their passion and purpose behind their job and what they're doing, you know, laying bricks or building a wall or building a cathedral. So we had a good discussion on that. And now we're just talking about her new listing coming up. So that's awesome, and good luck on that open house. Does anybody else have anything in this section before we move on?
Well, James missed what was just said, but she had the house staged. And Jeff was just suggesting photos, like before and after photos. So depending on what happens with your appointment today. Even though they're pretty set, but I would take some before and after pictures if they do something.
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's like, oh, like you're looking at these, oh, I wish I would have had pictures of what it looked like before, because you're showing them how great it looks, and it's like, well, I don't know what it looked like before, or whatever, so having just even a small library of 2 or 3 properties like that is really, really cool. And then I did, it's been probably 3 years plus right now, I did a presentation on how I do my listing or consultations. It was called The Best Listing Presentation Isn't a Presentation.
Yes.
But I had some of those, and so I was able to then, even in the PowerPoint, show it before and after. This is what the previous agent listed it. This is what we put to market. This is what the previous thing was. This is what we put to market. It's just like, holy shit, because you want to create that emotional experience for a buyer that's looking at it and go, wow, that looks so nice. And go see it because an empty room, a room doesn't elicit anything. So when you are able to show your potential listings and stuff, this is what I do, you know? And you can show them, they're gonna feel the same thing, and they're looking at somebody else's house and they're gonna know you're gonna do that to them. So you look at a picture of a room, and then you look at a picture of a room that's staged nice, like the model home, right? And it's just like, wow, that's impressive, and it's the same damn room. But it really kind of grabs you different, and that's what you need, is you need people to stop scrolling and say, check that one, send that one to my agent, I wanna see that one, I'd like to be there in person. So, yeah, just moving forward, just try and do that, even if it's iPhone pictures or whatever, your photographer's gonna come through and do his pictures, but you could still, like I said, you can see where you took the picture before, just stand in the same spot and take, you know, pick that corner of the room or whatever, and then keep those in a folder on your phone.
I know that you have a lot on your listing presentation thing that I watched. You had a lot of like, most of them were like painted. You had them painted, which made a huge difference. And
That is the cheapest and number one
Yes.
thing you should do is paint.
yeah, she did not want to go there.
You know,
Yeah,
you can't make people do it, but yeah, painting, for the cost and the effect is awesome. So what you were saying, just suggesting James takes pictures on this.
He's
Okay.
gotten.
We just haven't gone
expensive than when he did it.
Nice, nice.
Painting.
Can you say that another listing?
Like it's.
He's
It's
needing
all some of those
stagers
things on
for
stuff.
a staging
For
course.
For your.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's been with us for a long time, but helps out a lot.
Anybody else in this section here? Wins, challenges?
We've got a lot of wins. I feel
Hmm.
like we've been.
Which pick one, and then we'll move on.
I don't know. I feel like we're just working on a lot of the background stuff and like you talked
Oh,
about.
she's
the
thinking
purpose.
what's secret and what's not. What can I say?
Yeah, we just are getting excited about the stuff we have coming up and planning it out and I don't know, you told me.
That's a great share.
It's.
We got stuff to worry.
We don't, we're working on stuff.
No, because it's 10 o'clock, I do, after 10 o'clock, I do want to move forward. Cause I want to,
Yeah, this is.
okay, so who saw the email from Glenn yesterday? James didn't, I can tell by looking at his face.
I didn't.
Oh,
I just
Mitch-
assumed when Lynn sent a text message is what we talked about.
What text message?
Said this.
You just said this?
she sent it.
I said.
Oh,
I
you
just said-
sent this.
Yeah, I just said this.
So it was really kind of cool because Eric was texting me, he sent me a message about, you know, just like his group.
It's so fun.
And then within the hour, that email came through, changes everything. I have another guy that I'm talking to, I've been talking to since I'm not gonna tell you who he is, because you know who he was or his team in case it doesn't happen. But ever since I moved to EXP, I've wanted to get him and his team over to EXP. He's a friend of mine, I've known him for years and years and years. And a few days ago, he sends me a text, he says, can you tell me about the rev share program again? Sweet, it's resurfacing, right? It's rekindling. And so I mean, I spent half a day. My compiling of PDFs to send him, and my email and crafting making sure he understood everything, the Thrive program that they have for teams, the Accelerate program anyway, literally within 2 days, we get this email and everything I sent, not everything, but the whole revenue share plan changed.
But for the way, like way better.
For a way better, but here's the cool thing, he was already interested, right? That's why I sent him all that stuff and he's wrapping his head around all that stuff, and then I'm like, oh, forget half of that shit I just told you, watch this, and I sent him this video, and then I forwarded him the email. The cool thing is I get another email from him, or a reply to that email saying, when next week can you meet with me and my partners to go over this in more detail?
Awesome.
So really, really cool. So there's some really great changes. Hillary, did you watch this?
I don't know if I watched this one. I just read
Shan?
it. I just read.
I didn't watch it.
Okay, so you guys are gonna be seeing it for the same time. So thanks for putting this in here because it's a great intro, and then Eric and I will have some comments and we can have a little discussion about these changes.
I just noticed the camera was on us. Why?
Hey everyone, Glenn Sanford here, founder of eXp Realty, and today I'm really excited to talk about a new initiative. Actually, it's an updated initiative. We'll call it 2.0. It's eXp Realty's RevShare 2.0 program. Obviously, in 2009, we set out to build the first company in the history of real estate where agents could actually earn income based on what would normally have went to the broker owner. By helping the brokerage expand, the revenue share program was born to really help agents build an additional stream of income to actually assist the brokerage in growing the brokerage. Since then, we introduced our equity ownership initiatives in 2014 after becoming a public company in 2013. In fact, last year, we shared $230 million in both rev share and equity to our agents and brokers who are with us producing and helping the company grow. So in 2019, we actually introduced what we called our sustainable rev share program, which is really our commitment to always paying out 50% of our company dollar in the form of rev share, which we've done every day since 2019. But with that also came some, we'll call it some slight nuances in that we actually created what we referred to as a sustainable revenue share buffer. A lot of agents had really pushed back on how those calculations were done. It wasn't as transparent as they would like. And so based on your feedback, we're actually rolling out eXp Realty's RevShare 2.0 program starting really shortly after you see this video. And basically what it is we're actually turning it into fixed percentages that will always pay out, and then we're going to actually bonus on top of that. So it'll be much easier to calculate the rev share and then how the bonuses ultimately get paid out. So that's kind of the first step. The second thing that we're doing is we're actually going to make it easier to qualify for rev share on levels 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And how are we going to do that? We're actually going to reduce the number of FLQAs, frontline qualifying agents, and you'll actually earn levels 1, 2, level 3 income without having to have a large frontline qualifying agent group. You'll also still get the expansion share through all 7 levels. But with that, once this fully rolls out, it will only take 5 agents, 5 frontline qualifying agents to qualify for level 4, 10 for level 5, and 15 for level 6. Level 7 is going to stay the same. Some of you may remember that we actually reduced the number of FLQAs from 40 to 30 to actually make it easier to qualify for level 7 last year, and there's a lot of agents that were really excited about that. But that's going to stay at 30, and so for those of you who are really about growing large rev share organizations and really want to maximize to the fullest the rev share opportunity, and you're kind of that broker owner, sales manager, recruiter persona, then level 7 is going to be really continue to excite you. Also, one of the other things that we're going to be doing is starting in July, you'll actually be able to earn 5% of the GCI on agents as they cap, or up to $4,000 on an $80,000 of the gross commission based on full cap agents, which basically means we're paying out 25% of the company dollar on agents when they join for their first year to their sponsor. And so this is something that we're really excited about. It's going to help agents really start to earn income faster, and then they'll automatically again have levels 2 and 3 automatically opened up. So we think this is a really exciting new initiative. The last one, this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. And it's really this concept that if you're a broker owner, and we've always said we want to put you in the seat of the broker owner. If you're a broker owner and a real estate transaction closes at your brokerage, when do you get paid? Well, you get paid on the day of closing. You don't have to wait, 20, 30, 40, 45 days to actually get paid. You get paid at the same time that the transaction closes. So starting as well is real-time rev share. And so you'll be able to go into My eXp, you'll actually be able to pay a Pay Me Now button, you'll actually be able to pay yourself any accumulated rev share that's accumulating for the next check. And by the way, if you don't hit the Pay Me Now or button, it will accumulate and it'll still get paid out the way it's always been paid out. But for those of you who are like, hey, I've got some money accumulating there, I might need it for some reason, you'll actually be able to accelerate that and get it immediately. So really excited about all of these initiatives. Again, super stoked. Thanks for being on the journey with me and all of us here at eXp. It's been a labor of love for the last 14 and a half years. It's hard to believe that I've been doing eXp that long. But with that, hope you guys are doing well and hope you really like eXp Realty's RevShare 2.0. To reduce the number.
Did you catch all that? It's some great changes, and I just want to like point out a couple of things. Sorry, that's on there.
The X button.
Oh, there you go. So then we can do some Q&A on this, for what we do understand it. Eric and I are still digesting these changes, and there's a lot of great ones. This is like probably the most important for agents, because if you remember, they've always paid out on 7 tiers, right? They've always paid something out, but you qualify to get an exponential share, a bigger share of people on levels 2 through 7 if you're growing the business. If you're not growing the business, they're still going to pay you a little bit of something, because you might not have sponsored more than one person and then they went and built this great big organization. You're still going to benefit from that. But you used to have to sponsor 5 agents that are actually selling property. So a qualified agent, if you're not familiar, is they either do 2 transactions or 5,000 in gross commission income in the previous 6 months from when they're doing the rev share check. So if somebody hasn't done a deal in 6 months and they used to be a qualifying agent for you to unlock those other tiers, they fall off until they close another transaction. Then it was 10 for level 3. Then it was 15 for level 4. Then 20, 25, 30. That's how many agents you had to have to unlock those positions. So the change now is they are automatically going to open for the higher rev share all 3 levels. Now, this is kind of actually an extension from what they did this year for newer agents, is just as a recruiting inducement or whatever, somebody to move over for their first year. A new agent that moved over was going to have 3 tiers unlocked, to where if they brought in somebody, they will automatically qualify on tier 1, 2, and 3 for any agents that ended up on that during their first year. So it's just like a monetary incentive. Well, that was only for the first year. Now, this is the new revenue share plan. So those 3 tiers are open now, which is huge. You've got, people you've sponsored, and then they bring somebody on, they're on your level 2. If you don't have 5 qualifying agents on your level 1, you don't get paid that extra percentage from that second tier, because you haven't qualified for it. Now you automatically qualify for tier 2 and 3. So now this is, for us that have been in it for a minute, we can see the power in this, because we used to have 5 qualifying agents just to unlock this tier. Now somebody that reaches tier 5 has the first 4 tiers unlocked to receive a higher commission back from EXP based on what those agents are paying out of their commission. They're 20% split, right, till they cap. That's huge. That's huge. So for instance, right now, it's 5, 10, 15, right? Then 20, 25. So comparison to my model, I have 11 qualifying agents on tier 1 that have sold real estate. They're active in real estate, and they've helped me unlock those other tiers. So 5, 10, I've unlocked tier 3. Haven't unlocked tier 4 yet. Soon as this change goes in effect, I automatically have 2 more tiers open. And I have agents on these tiers that have been getting paid a little bit off their production. Now EXP is saying, with the same spot I'm in right now, they're opening up clear to tier 5 with my 11 agents. And I just need 4 more. And I actually unlock tier 6 now instead of being up here.
So cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's amazing, because, and I've been thinking about this. They've talked about the small percentage of EXP agents that actually have 5 or more, and it's very small. A lot of EXP agents are just selling properties. They're just doing their business. They're doing transactions. It's their career, it's their job, but they really aren't purposefully trying to recruit agents or attract agents, right? Sometimes it happens by just doing stuff like this, and you meet them, they come to a training, you build a relationship. You attract an agent sometimes without much effort, right? And so you can just kind of grow organically that way. So for now, EXP to create that opportunity to where that monetization is probably going for the average agent, going to increase maybe their incentive. So maybe I should have more conversations, because there's people at other brokerages that are struggling, and we know that. But it's really hard to say, hey, come over and see what we're doing, because it's better than what you're doing. That recruiting awkwardness, sometimes you don't really know how to open that discussion. I think this will just make it easier because there's actually more value for them for coming over, especially if they have a couple friends that would come with them. Eric, you got any thing to add on that particular slide and those tiers?
I sure do.
You
know, we kind of hinted at this a couple months ago when Matt and Patrick shared that we're going to have some news in the next month or two. Ended up being 2 months, but we really didn't know the details. We just knew that it was going to be big news and it was going to be good news. And it's actually much bigger and much better news than we even expected. So it's really the way I'm looking at this is that it is a pay raise for 96% of the company of agents. That's my basic calculations. And I was kind of thinking about it last night because as you mentioned, Jeff, inside of EXP as the agents, only 4% have over 5 FLQAs on their first tier. So when you think about the ability to actually increase your revenue share as you go as a new agent or someone that is just starting out growing a revenue share team, the power of this is incredible. So one analogy I was thinking of is, let's say you introduce your first agent to EXP in the revenue share. You've got one on your first tier. Well, what if they go and invite another agent to EXP that's on your second tier, and they also invite another agent, which becomes your third tier? You have 3 people in your entire group, 1 on 1, 1 on 2, and 1 on 3. Well, previously, you would have to have, like Jeff said, you'd have to have, 5 to hit tier 2 and 10 to hit that tier 3 and unlock that. And it could be something that never happens. But with this new change, you're going to get the full revenue share commission on all 3 of them, even though you've only sponsored 1 person in EXP. So incredibly powerful. It really it makes a huge difference for those that would like to start growing a revenue share team and actually see some really nice, good income that is consistent, because you're not always wondering if you're going to qualify for those first 3 levels. So it is it's super powerful. I love what they're doing here, because this is it's going to change the landscape of real estate again, in my opinion, and how people look at EXP, how people introduce. I really think we're going to have a spike in numbers again with this change, because it is just too attractive.
Yeah.
And Jeff, we talk about all the time. We used to be the only cloud-based brokerage in the world, right? Now we're the first cloud-based brokerage. Anytime you have huge success changing an industry, there's going to be copycats that come out. And we've always known that we were the best, but this just puts everybody in the dust when it comes to revenue share. So I'm super excited about it, and we're gonna see some really fun things. So one other thing I'll mention too is, in that scenario of 3, if you're thinking about how much synergy we have in our group, but how everyone in EXP always wants to help each other all the time anyway. Well, now if you have that group of 3 and you have someone on your third tier that you're getting full revenue share commission, it's just naturally going to encourage everybody to help everybody even more, because there's not going to be that, well, I'm not making that much on my third tier. Do I allocate very much time to helping that person? And I know that everybody in our group is not like that. We help everybody no matter what, wherever they are. But I think company-wide, it's going to create more of a collaboration and synergy and really, almost like a family feel in EXP because of this change. I think it's incredible, super powerful.
I agree. I like you pointed out the distinction from our group to others too, because it made me think of Don Vaughn. He's funny. Every time I introduce him to somebody in here and stuff like that, he says, yeah, and I'm on his tier 8. He doesn't even make any money off of me. And he's always helping me. He like totally makes that distinction. And they don't even know what he's talking about. Tier 8, what? Some random home warranty guy is going, cool.
So I have a question, maybe it's not, the answer is unknown right now, but before in your overviews, you would share how profitable EXP was compared to other brokerages.
Mhm.
How will this just like decrease the margin? How will it work
No,
out?
good question. Good
As
question.
far as like profitability for the whole company as a whole?
EXP has not changed what they're paying out. They've changed who they're paying it out to and how they're distributing it. So they're still on a 50% payout for rev share. So the company dollar comes in from our 20% split, right? And transaction fees and blah, 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 blah. They only retain half of that. Eric likes to say, hey, we're really like an 80-10-10 model, not an 80-20 model, because 80% stays with the agent. Another 10% comes back to the agents through rev share that are building the company, and they only keep 10%. So that hasn't changed. The distribution has changed. So here's something to note as well. The top people, let's think Gene Frederick, Brent Gove, right? Rob Flick, have over 10, 15, 16, 18,000 people in their organizations. Their level 7s are massive. They're making huge dollars. The minute that the last change happened, when they changed the requirement for tier 7 to 30 agents instead of 40 agents, I've talked to Drew Drew Johnson works for Brent. Drew told me that Brent took a $300,000 to $350,000 monthly decrease in his check. Because they're still only distributing 50% of the income comes in, but they're giving more of it to more agents, not just those tops that have all the 40 plus agents. There was only, I don't know the number, maybe Eric does, but let's say 10 to a dozen people that had more than 40. So they made that more accessible, and everybody got a raise except for those top earners. They took a cut. So I literally watched a video last night from another agent that was explaining the same things, how great this is for the company, how great this is for the average agent in the company, and how great it's going to be for those coming over. And he was mentioning his personal rev share check was going to go down 20 to 30%. And he was ecstatic about it because of what Eric was just talking about. We want everybody to succeed. This is just a different company, right? He wasn't bitching and whining and moaning. It's like, man, this is great for everybody else, but I was doing so good. I've worked hard on this other model. No, there was no talk of that. It was like, this is amazing. He was ecstatic, really, to be able to say that he was getting paid less, but was excited for the future of the company. And I love that because it's so inclusive. It's including more people. We're going to be able to grow, like Eric said, we're probably going to see a wave of people coming to EXP because, oh my gosh, the opportunity there just quadrupled for most agents. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so some other models, I like that Eric also brought up being first. EXP started in 2009. They were, for a long time, the only cloud-based brokerage. The copycats only started copying once they said, oh, that's working. Not like pioneering like Glenn did. They said, wow, that is a better model. We should do something similar. So there's a lot of other brokerages that have come up, and there will be a lot more brokerages that pop up, but they're being built differently. So real briefly on this subject, and I've talked to Eric about this, what I love about EXP is 70% of the ownership in the company, it's publicly traded, is still controlled by the agents and the founders. They're still driving the ship, right? Some of these other companies are investor heavy. They've raised capital. These investors want a return on their money. We've talked in Team Mastermind before about, I think it was Compass, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Compass, one of their shareholder presentations. The first line item that they talk about is how they successfully decreased the commission expense. Meaning, good news investors, we're paying our agents less. And I found that super interesting, because if I was an agent of that company, I'd be going, oh, they're not really looking out for us, right? So when Glenn says that we're the most agent-centric brokerage on the planet, It's because he built it for the agent. He's making these decisions for the agents, and he's not listening to the boardroom and the advisory councils and the popular vote from the investors that say, we want a better return on our investment in your company. And if that means the agents make less, that's what we expect.
What this opens up in my mind is more culture, more collaboration, because what I'm seeing in the industry right now is there's a lot of people, maybe not people in our group, there's a lot of people making a lot of less money. They're not doing as well. They've got to get a part-time job, and their energy their vibrational energy might be a little bit lower. But you can show them, you know what, those of you that are paying $500 per transaction, your company never pays you. In this company, you start adding this in and the culture and the collaboration, and you're helping other people build their business and become successful. EXP is going to be paying us to be working for them. And I mean, that's what they've done for us the last 5 years we've been here. But this is a massive,
It makes it attainable for everybody.
and you know, I hear it all the time. Well, I don't want to recruit. Don't recruit. Just show people how this can help them. If they're not interested, then that's fine. But this can change their life. It can bring in that extra income that they might have lost because things changed for them. But it also will bring up people's energy and excitement for what we're doing. It's really.
So having it be more attainable, think of it this way. I mean, Eric and I, we're always here to support and help people grow, but it has to be something that you guys want to do, right? So now the thought of, hey, whether it takes a year or 2 years or 3 years, whatever, let's say the goal is to get 5 agents that you get to run with in this business that you like hanging out with them. Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. I'll get my hug later. We're almost done. Getting 5 agents and then committing to say, I would love to do that for somebody else. I would love to get 5 agents and help them get 5. Look at the reach that gets for every person involved. And that's pretty attainable. But when you're thinking, I'd really be doing good if I could get 20, right? I have, and I've been doing this for a long time, I have 11 qualifying agents, right? So sometimes that can be discouraging. So this is super attainable. Eric and I are totally on board, and you guys are too, to redirect some more attention probably towards serving other agents by showing them this new change and just having a conversation about it. No expectations involved. I never push people, but this is information people should know about, don't you think?
Yeah.
So it's a great share.
Awesome. Okay. Very cool.
Awesome. Eric, any other final thoughts on that? It's 10:30. We're gonna kind of skip through the rest of our stuff and wrap up. For those of you that just kind of jumped on, our new time slot for Thursday for Team Mastermind is 9:30 to 10:30. Conrad, good to see you. Cody, catching us at the tail end. Oh, I thought you were saying something. Our training with Ian is going to start at 11, so in a half an hour. So I'll probably just leave this on. I'm going to stop this recording and then I'll restart it. Ian, a lot of you know Ian. He's going to be telling his story, how he's built his real estate portfolio and what he was doing before and how he did that. It's just a great story, a great journey. And what I love about it is anybody can do it. And that's what Ian's like, is like, I can do it. Anybody can do it. It's great talking points for our clients, our friends, our friends' kids, even who has people that they know that their kids are in their early 20s that think that they are never going to own a home, right? It's like just one little strategy, one little thing, one little quote or example of somebody else doing it could really help out people. So again, you're going to get a lot of talking points from our training today to share with people that hopefully will lead to more business.
I know I posted about getting my son, and I posted a video on getting my son into his house. You know, he's only 23, 22 when he got into his house, and
Perfect. I love that.
last year, and one of the moms, somebody that I know, like her mom saw my video, and she's like, and she's talking about getting a house. She's like, well, call Hillary. She got her son into a house. He's 22. you know, call him, you know, and,
Right?
so we're in talks, but there's been some family drama they have to deal with. But anyway, it's just kind of funny, just like, you know, it's,
Those are the
Definitely
stories that
spirits
people
out
need
there.
to know about.
Yeah.
It's like, people want to do what you've done or what you've helped other people do, but they don't know about it.
right.
Right? That is our conversation that we should be having is, I like to explain it this way, is like, take people on the journey with you. I just did a Zoom call with an amazing couple in Florida that I've met recently, and they want to get into real estate, and we were talking about that same thing. It's like, let everybody know. You know, hey guys, I'm looking for my next investment property. I'm looking for my next investment property. I want to be in these communities. Let me know if you hear of anything. What they're saying is, I'm active in the market, I'm making investments, and people are wondering, is it now really a good time to buy? So just by stating what you're doing or who you're helping is going to create questions and conversations that people will have an opportunity to maybe reach out to you and say, well, I wanted to do that, but I didn't think it was a good time to do it. Right? So just think of it that way. Take people on the journey with you. Even if you haven't done what it is you want to help somebody to do, work towards it. It's like, hey, I want to do it with you. I'll go with you. I want to buy a rental property too, right? I used to have people come to me all the time and say that I wasn't even a real estate agent, and I didn't have a method of helping them. So anyway, sidetrack. Let's move forward on this. Just remind you guys that EXPCon this year is going to be in Miami. Anybody going? You guys going?
Don't know yet, working on
I
it.
haven't bought my tickets yet, but I'm going.
Well, if I
I'm
make
going.
a few thousand, right?
Yeah, so there's a goal. There's a goal. Let's make the money to pay for that.
Yeah.
We all hang out in Miami. I'll talk Lynn into getting a big suite we can hang out in.
Talk
Yeah, Yeah, let me run that by my boss. So last week's training, I'm gonna skip by that because of the time. This is Ian. We were just talking about Ian. He's a stud. He's gonna do a great presentation for us today in just a half an hour. So we're gonna get set up here for that. As always, we've got,
Some guy up there,
what's that?
look at that handsome.
I know, look at that.
Hi, Eddie.
Momentum, James. James is coming up on May 30th.
So should get that ready.
Who picked out the picture?
That's the only one I had.
Oh, that's the only one you have?
I love it. I love it.
We can swap out a new one.
Yeah.
Do it now.
The color pieces.
I know we went way over because we were talking about the rev share, but Ashley, who was,
That's me.
oh, that's Shayna.
Yeah.
Can we do a shortened version of it and
Sure.
leave some thoughts with us to think about this week?
Yep, I'll be really quick.
Okay.
So, we've heard this quote before, do what you love is for amateurs, love what you do is the mantra for professionals. Normally I would have us go through and kind of talk about what the difference means to you, but because we're in a rush, I'll just kind of read a few ideas.
Okay.
So doing what you love, this phrase emphasizes pursuing activities or endeavors that align with your passions, interests, and values. It suggests that finding fulfillment and satisfaction in life comes from engaging in activities that you genuinely enjoy and feel passionate about. It implies actively seeking out opportunities that allow you to do things that bring you joy and meaning, even if they may not always be easy or lucrative. So do what you love, think about that. Versus love what you do. This phrase emphasizes finding enjoyment, fulfillment, and satisfaction in the tasks, responsibilities, or roles that you are currently engaged in. It suggests cultivating a positive attitude, mindset, and appreciation for the work or activities that you are already involved in, regardless of whether they align perfectly with your passions. And it implies finding value, purpose, and meaning in the present moment, making the most of your current circumstances and deriving satisfaction from the work you do, even if it may not be your ultimate passion. So the reason I like this is because sometimes I think we get caught up, especially in the self-development world, of focusing on doing what you love. And like, I've been seeing a lot of like marriages fall apart, just people leaving like their careers because it's not their passion, right? And sometimes in this industry, especially, we get confused. Like, so I really love what I do, but there was a time where I was like burned out and things like that, needed to shift and make a break, have a break. But shifting the mindset to loving what you do sometimes doesn't mean you love, say, knocking on doors or making phone calls or whatever, but you start to learn to love the tasks that you do to build that cathedral.
Laying bricks, baby.
Right? So anyway, that's kind of the whole idea is to shift your mindset to just loving what you do, even if you aren't passionate about the tasks to get you to the ultimate goal.
Yeah, not every task is exciting,
Yeah,
sexy, whatever.
yep.
But it's part of the whole. I love that. I love that. So this week, let's kind of just think about that, is like why we're doing what we're doing, especially maybe connected to those menial tasks. It's like, oh, I hate doing this. So, right. Well, so there's a couple ways to look at that. Those are the things that maybe we should be delegating, right? Just because it has to be done part of the transaction doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it. Easier said than done. Initially, when we're starting, we do it all. And so having what you just said, having that and loving what you do because of why you're doing it and what it's going to, the results it's going to produce for somebody, really gives you a different motivation or enthusiasm about those tasks. So we'll follow back up on that next week.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, like, James has kind of been really good balance for me and like, kind of making me think a little bit differently. So like, he's like, you need to do this. And I'm like, but I don't love to do that. And I've been kind of a poop head about it. You know, but I'm starting to be like, okay, I'm seeing what is happening. Like, I'm really trying to shift my mindset of like, okay, yes, I get to go into the back end more and like update my stuff. And like, that's not what my strength is, but I'm learning to love it because it allows me to build a solid business.
And build on your strength.
Yep. Yep. The end.
Cool. That was great. Yep. It's a great way to end. And we'll pick that back up next week on Thursday at 9:30, guys. For Mastermind, we're combining our two events that we do as a team onto the one day. As a reminder, 9:30 to 10:30 is going to be our Mastermind, which is what we're wrapping up right now, and then 11 we'll still start our training. So I'm going to leave Zoom on just as we get set up for the training. I'm just going to stop this recording, then I'll restart it for the training. But Ian is going to be here in a little bit, and we're going to start literally in like 20 minutes on how he got started in real estate. Okay.
Are you gonna mute it?
Well, you got something personal to say or want to share with everybody?
Sure, what he actually said.
Something you don't want me to hear?
Yeah. You can't say in front of Nathan's timid ears or not timid ears. Okay, let's see. How do I stop? I think I can just hit stop, right?
Yeah.
And then